You look homeless. My brother said it in the lobby of the Grand Cascade Resort, loud enough for the couple checking in to hear, loud enough for the valet to glance over. He laughed, not the kind laugh you share with someone, the kind that makes you small. My sister-in-law, Michelle, covered her mouth, not from shock, from trying not to laugh too. I stood there in my old jeans and worn sweater, backpack over one shoulder, watching my family gather for my dad's 60th birthday weekend. And I thought, they have no idea. No idea that the marble floor they're standing on, the chandelier above their heads, the room keys in their pockets, all mine, every inch of this place. From the moment I'd signed the papers 6 months ago, I'd imagined this. My family here, judging me, pitying me, standing on marble I paid for with money they didn't think I had. But I never imagined it would feel like this. Like winning and losing at the same time. Growing up in suburban Denver, I was always the odd one out. My brother Tyler, Stanford MBA, investment banking, Tesla in the garage, 2 kids in private school. My sister Vanessa, corporate lawyer, downtown condo, designer everything, engaged to a surgeon. And me, Casey, the free spirit. That's what Mom called it at family dinners. Casey's always been our free spirit. Translation, the one who didn't fit the mold. I dropped out of business school my junior year. Couldn't sit in those lectures anymore, pretending to care about market cap and quarterly earnings. I wanted to build things. So I started freelancing, web design, app development, living in a studio apartment in Capitol Hill, thrift store furniture, ramen 3 nights a week. But I was happy. At least, I thought I was. Until the family group chat. Dad's 60th at the Grand Cascade. 3 nights, all expenses paid. Can't wait to celebrate with my successful kids. Mom's message, with that emoji. Tyler responded immediately. Booked the executive suite. Michelle and the kids are so excited. Vanessa, David and I will be there. Already requested the weekend off. And then, silence. No one asked if I could afford it, because they assumed I couldn't. I showed up on Friday afternoon in November. Denver was cold. That sharp, dry cold that makes your nose hurt. The mountains in the distance had fresh snow. The Grand Cascade Resort sat just outside the city, nestled against the foothills. 5-star. Valet parking. Doormen in black coats. I took an Uber. Tyler's Tesla was already parked out front. I walked into that lobby with my backpack and sneakers, and I felt every eye on me. The marble floors, the 20-foot ceilings, the chandelier that probably cost more than my entire apartment. And there they were, my family, clustered by the fireplace, champagne glasses, laughter. Mom saw me first. Casey, you made it. She hugged me, but I felt her stiffen when she saw my clothes. You didn't bring anything else? I'm fine, Mom. Tyler walked over. Dude, seriously, this place has a jacket requirement for the restaurant. I'll be okay. I can lend you something, he offered, but his tone said, I can't believe I have to offer this. Vanessa joined us, David trailing behind her. Casey, maybe we can grab you something from the gift shop? They probably have options. Options. Like I was a problem to be solved. I'm good, I said. Michelle appeared with the kids. Uncle Casey, did you take the bus here? She said it like a joke, but her eyes said something else. I smiled. Uber, actually. Oh, well, still that's resourceful. That word, resourceful, code for broke. I wanted to say something, wanted to tell her right there, but what would that prove? That I could embarrass her? Make her feel small the way she just made me feel small? No. If I was going to do this, I'd do it right. Dinner was at Elevation, the hotel's signature restaurant, floor-to-ceiling windows, mountains going dark outside, white tablecloths that probably cost more than my monthly grocery bill. I sat at the end of the table, always at the end. Tyler ordered a $200 bottle of wine like it was water. Vanessa showed everyone her engagement ring for the 3rd time. David surprised me at the plaza, got down on one knee right there in the lobby. Mom squeezed her hand. You deserve it, sweetheart. Then Tyler looked at me. So, Case. The table went quiet. That specific kind of quiet where everyone's listening but pretending they're not. How's the freelance thing? Freelance thing. like it was a hobby, a phase. It's good, I said. Still, what is it you do again? Websites? I could feel Mom shifting next to me. Apps, development contracts. Right, right. He swirled his wine. That's cool. I mean, flexibility's nice, you know? Not having a boss breathing down your neck. It is. Vanessa jumped in. Have you thought about, I don't know, going back to school, like finishing your degree? It's never too late, you know? There it was. The thing they'd been waiting to say all night. I'm doing fine, I said. We just. Mom's voice got soft. God, Casey, we worry. Stability, health insurance. What happens when you're older? I'm 28. They were talking about retirement. Dad set down his fork. Your brother and sister have built solid careers, strong foundations. We just want you to have that same security. I looked around the table. Every face. That same tilt of the head. That soft, sad smile. Pity, not concern, not curiosity. Pity. It sat in my chest like a stone, cold and heavy and impossible to swallow past. Tyler leaned back, playing the generous older brother. Look, just, if you need help, I know people. Entry-level stuff, nothing crazy, but it's steady. Benefits? You could probably start at 45, maybe 50K. Entry-level. At 28, 45K. 6 years of building apps. 6 years of teaching myself code in coffee shops and libraries. 6 years of client calls and deadline crunches and sleepless nights debugging. And he thought I needed his help to make 45K. The worst part? A small voice in my head still wondered if maybe he was right. Maybe I was the failure they thought I was. Maybe owning this hotel was just the luck. A fluke. That voice was the reason I'd kept quiet for so long. But tonight, sitting at that table, I realized something. That voice wasn't mine. It was theirs. And I was done listening to it. I'd made $4.2 million 3 years ago. But he didn't know that. None of them did, because they'd never asked. I pushed back from the table. Too fast. The chair scraped loud. I need air. My voice came out wrong. Tight. Casey. Mom reached for my arm. I was already walking. Couldn't stay there. Couldn't look at their faces anymore. I walked through the lobby, past the grand piano where someone was playing something classical, past the fireplace where a couple sat with cocktails, past the concierge desk where Maria, my concierge, looked up and smiled. She knew who I was. No one else did. I pushed through the glass doors to the terrace. The cold hit me like a wall. My breath came out in clouds. The mountains were black against the purple sky. And I thought, funny how the place I owned made me feel like I didn't belong. I'd bought every brick, every chair, every thread in those white tablecloths. But standing here in my jeans and worn sneakers, I was still the outsider, the one who didn't fit. Maybe that's what money can't buy. The feeling of fitting in with people who never wanted you to fit in the first place. I pulled out my phone, scrolled to a text I'd drafted 100 times but never sent. I need you to know I'm okay. I'm more than okay. I just wish you'd asked. My thumb hovered over send. Then I deleted it. What was the point? They'd see soon enough. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in my room, one of the standard rooms on the 3rd floor, and stared at the ceiling. Every family gathering played back in my head. Every Casey's still figuring it out. Every we're proud of you, but every time they forgot to ask what I was working on. Because if I wasn't making 6 figures at a corporation, it didn't count. I got up, 2:47 a.m., walked down to the empty lobby, sat in one of the leather chairs by the fireplace. The dying embers casting orange light across the marble. A security guard walked by. Everything okay, sir? Yeah, just couldn't sleep. He nodded and moved on. I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, $3.1 million. I'd grown it. But what did it matter? My family saw me as the failure, the one who needed help. And part of me had let them think that, because it was easier than explaining, easier than defending my choices, easier than fighting for their respect. But sitting there in that empty lobby in the hotel I owned, being treated like I didn't belong, I was done being easy. Saturday morning, breakfast at the hotel cafe. I got there early, ordered coffee, black. The manager on duty walked past, stopped. Mr. Torres? I looked up. James, my general manager. We'd only met twice in person, but we video called monthly to review financials. James, hey. He glanced around. I didn't realize you'd be here this weekend. Family thing, my dad's birthday. Well, if there's anything you need. Actually, I said quietly, can you keep this between us? My family doesn't know. He studied my face, then nodded. Of course, but if I may ask, why? I didn't have a good answer. I'm figuring that out, I said. He left just as Tyler and Michelle walked in with the kids. Morning, Tyler said. He looked tired. These rooms are nice, but the walls are thin. Heard someone's TV at like 3 a.m. Yeah, sorry about that, Michelle added. For the price, you'd think they'd have better soundproofing. For the price. She said it like I wasn't sitting right there. This place used to be better, Tyler continued, scrolling on his phone. Read some reviews last night. New ownership, apparently. Some investment group, probably cutting corners. I sipped my coffee. You ever think about who owns places like this? I asked. Tyler shrugged. Corporate entities, hedge funds, people with real money. Why? Just curious. He went back to his phone. And that's when I decided. I wasn't going to tell them. I was going to show them. Saturday evening, Dad's birthday dinner. Private dining room on the top floor. Reserved for special events. 20 people. Extended family. Dad's old college buddies. Speeches, champagne. Cake with 60 candles. Tyler went first. Talked about Dad building his accounting firm from scratch. How hard work pays off. He glanced at me when he said that. Vanessa went next. Got emotional. Talked about Dad teaching her to never settle. Another glance. Then it was my turn. I stood up. The room got that polite quiet. The one reserved for the family disappointment. I don't have a prepared speech, I said. Tyler smiled. The kind smile that says, of course you don't. But I do want to share something. I pulled out my phone, opened my email app. 6 months ago, I made an investment. I could feel Mom tense beside me. Oh God, he's about to ask for money. Real estate, I continued. Something I'd been watching for a while. Tyler's smile faltered. You bought property? In a way. I turned my phone around, showed the email chain, the closing documents, the wire transfer confirmations. I bought this hotel. No one moved. What? Mom's voice was small. The Grand Cascade Resort. I kept my voice steady. I own it. Vanessa's fork clattered to her plate. You're Casey. This isn't funny. I'm not joking. Tyler stood up, fast. His chair scraped against the floor. That's impossible. This place is worth $8.3 million. I looked right at him. I bought it for 7.9. Cash offer. Closed in 45 days. The room was so quiet, I could hear someone breathing. Oh, where? Dad's voice cracked. Where did you get that kind of money? 3 years ago, I built an app, hotel scheduling platform. Sold it to a hospitality tech company for $4.2 million. After taxes, I walked away with $2.7 million. I looked around the table. Every face. Frozen. I invested it, grew it. And when this property went on sale, I bought it. David, Vanessa's fiancé, was the only one who spoke. You're a multimillionaire. Yeah, I guess I am. Michelle's hand was over her mouth. For real this time. Tyler just stared. Why didn't you tell us? And there it was. The question I'd been waiting for. Because you never asked. My voice was calm, quiet. You never asked what I was building, what I was working on. You just saw the old clothes and the Uber and the studio apartment, and you decided I was failing. Casey, we didn't... Mom started. You introduced me as your free spirit mom. Tyler offered me entry-level jobs. Vanessa told me to finish my degree. None of you? I had to stop, breathe. None of you ever considered that maybe I knew what I was doing. Tyler sank back into his chair. His face had gone pale. You let us think you were broke. I didn't let you think anything, I said. You assumed. And I stopped correcting you. Because every time I tried to talk about my work, you'd change the subject. Or give me advice I didn't ask for, or look at me with that pity. The word hung in the air. Vanessa was crying now, quiet tears running down her face. Dad looked like someone had punched him. This whole weekend, Tyler said slowly, We've been here, in your hotel. Yeah. Complaining about the soundproofing. I almost smiled. I heard that. Michelle made a sound, half laugh, half sob. Casey, Dad stood up. His hands were shaking. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. I looked at each of them. I just needed you to know. I'm fine. I've always been fine. And maybe I should have told you sooner, but part of me wanted to see if any of you would ever ask about my life, my work, what I was actually doing. I paused. You never did. The birthday cake sat there. Candles melted down to nothing. No one touched it. I walked out. And for the first time all weekend, I felt like I could breathe. I found Dad on the terrace an hour later. He was leaning against the railing, staring at the mountains. The lights from Denver glowed orange in the distance. Hell of a view, he said. Yeah, you did good, Casey. This place, it's really something. I stood next to him. Our breath made clouds in the cold. I'm sorry, he said. His voice cracked. For not asking, for assuming, for... He trailed off. For treating me like I needed saving? He nodded. Yeah, that. We stood there for a while. Do you forgive us? He asked. I thought about that. Forgiveness. Like it was something simple. Something I could just hand over. I don't know, I said honestly. I'm not angry, not really. I'm just tired. Tired of being underestimated? Tired of fighting to be seen? We see you now. Do you, or do you just see the hotel? The money? He didn't answer. Because we both knew the truth. Casey, it's okay, Dad. We're going to figure it out. But it's going to take time. He nodded. We stood there until the cold was too much. Before I left, I told them to enjoy the weekend. On the house. Mom cried. Tyler looked at his feet. Vanessa hugged me tight. I'm sorry, she whispered. I really am. I know, I said. And I did know. But knowing and forgiving aren't the same thing. The next morning, I had breakfast alone. Watched my family from across the lobby as they checked out. Tyler looked exhausted. Vanessa's eyes were red. Mom kept glancing around like she was seeing the place for the first time. They were different now. The way you're different after you realize you've been wrong about something important. About someone important. James approached me quietly. Everything go okay this weekend, Mr. Torres? I thought about that. Yeah, I said. I think it did. He nodded. For what it's worth, I think you handled it well. Did I? You told the truth. That's more than most people do. He walked away, leaving me with my coffee and my thoughts. I still own the Grand Cascade. Run it from a distance, mostly. Let the managers do their job. My family's different now. More careful with their words, more curious about my life. But here's the thing. Nobody tells you about proving people wrong. It doesn't feel as good as you think it will. There's no moment of pure triumph. No victory music, no credits rolling. There's just the quiet realization that you were right and the complicated mess of loving people who didn't believe in you. Because that's the real twist, isn't it? I didn't buy that hotel to prove them wrong. I bought it because it was a good investment. The fact that they were there mocking me in the lobby of my own property, that was just timing. But it taught me something I wish I'd learned earlier. You can't make people see you until they're ready to look. And sometimes, the price of being seen is higher than you want to pay. I proved I was successful, but I lost something too. That small, quiet hope that maybe one day they'd ask, that they'd care. Not because I was rich, but because I was their son, their brother. That hope's gone now, and I don't know if proving them wrong was worth losing it. So here's my question for you. If your family underestimated you for years, and you finally had the power to make them see, would you? Even if it meant they'd never look at you the same way again? Even if the moment of triumph felt more like grief? I made my choice. I'm still living with it. What would you do?